share with you what I would have shared with them. And actually, maybe I'm going to make it a little different than I would have with them. But I'm sure you're familiar with the song, If I Had $1 Million. It's been around for quite a while. It's a Canadian song, and I'm sure the tune is now going around in your head. But some of the things that he says he would do if he had $1 million, I don't know if anybody remembers any of them. Any ideas? What? Pardon me? Buy you a house. Yes. What else goes? But not a real fur coat, because that's cruel, right? A fur coat. Buy you a monkey, yes. And a llama. I remember that too. But at the end of the song, yeah, I'm going to buy you a monkey. Anything else in that song? What would you do? What does he do with his $1 million? With the kids, I was going to say he wants to build a tree fort with $1 million. And that's going to be some tree fort, isn't it? $1 million tree fort. Pardon me? Expensive ketchup. To go on the Kraft dinner, the mac and cheese, right? And really, they wouldn't have to eat Kraft and cheese, but they would, lots of it. And the real expensive, the Dijon ketchup, yes, I think so. It's a good question. Actually, Julie had sent me a message this week about a woman who I think did win $1 million, and the first thing she went out to do was to get a new couch. And we were kind of laughing that would be the first thing that you would want to do with your $1 million. But actually, yesterday I was shopping for a new couch and didn't buy one, but I was looking at prices, and I really did wish I did have $1 million in my pocket, because boy, it's really expensive, and you always seem to want the most expensive one, don't you? Well, what would you do with $1 million, I wonder? What are the kinds of things that you might do? And I would have asked the children what they would do with their $1 million. And their answers would have been delightful, I'm sure. But there are some things, of course, more valuable than $1 million. Believe it or not, it's true. Their lives, the lives of our children, are more valuable than $1 million. If we would be, I'm sure, so poor if we did not have the children among us. If you weren't among us, we would be poorer for it. Your life is worth far more than $1 million. Your eyes, as we all know, our sight changes, and how valuable our eyesight is, how valuable our ears are, our hearing is, way more than $1 million. Your words, the things that come out of your mouth. And if you have children, I'm sure you remember some of the things that they said when they were young that still make you smile. Worth way more than $1 million. And of course, the talents that each of those children have, that each of you have in this congregation, are worth far more than $1 million. There are things that you can do that perhaps other people can do too, but not many of them. And in some sense, you are unique with those talents that God has given you. Maybe you can whistle, maybe you can snap your fingers, maybe you can dance, maybe you can draw, maybe you can skate. Maybe we were talking a little earlier, what talent would you like to have? Some of the things that you would like to be able to do. Maybe you can play music. Maybe you can play music by ear, which was one of the talents I wish I had. So simply this morning, to encourage you to give thanks to God for all of those talents and all of those gifts that are represented not only in your life, but in the life of this congregation. Thank God that you are worth more than $1 million. You're worth more than $1 billion, $1 trillion, a gazillion dollars. Thank God for how precious each member of this congregation is. Amen.